am so excited to talk about money today. I have to tell you, some people absolutely love when I talk about money, and other people avoid it. And so today we're not going to avoid it. We are going to face it head on, and I'm going to take you along a pathway to understand how you see money, then fall in love with the idea of having more, then convince yourself you do, and then observe it in your physical 3D world, basically. So I'm going to take you through this. What I do, I always use my 4-step manifestation process for everything. So this time we are going to apply that 4-step manifestation process specifically to money. And so if you follow these 4 steps and you stick to it, it is inevitable. It is universal law. So I'll leave it at that, but that's the journey I'm going to take you along. I do believe, and I've said this time and time again, that people never come into my world uninvited, or I never come into theirs uninvited. Let's say that. It's attraction, and it literally is a cause and effect relationship. And so the simple act of signing up for something like this, you did that for a reason. There was intentionality behind that, and you might not be consciously aware. You might be like, well, I don't know. I just saw it and I had a feeling. That feeling was intuitive. That feeling was guided, and you're following a pathway now towards the realization of something. And so I trust that, even if it makes no sense at all. I absolutely trust it. A little example, yesterday I was working out with my trainer, Eric. So he is a dear friend of mine, very aware, awake, enlightened, beautiful soul. He's going to be in Mexico at the retreat in October. And he just had this intuitive hit to ask me a question. He's like, this question's going to come out of nowhere, Kathleen, but I got to ask it. And I said, okay. And he asked it. And I went, I guess I'm supposed to answer that. So then I answered it. And then it led us down a discussion and a pathway towards a huge realization. A huge realization. And it had nothing to do with the original question he wanted to ask, but it's just, it's being guided and just following what feels good, and knowing that whatever feels good is the truth that's residing within your soul. And so we follow that feeling. So many people that are already in my community will know that, they will understand that, they feel that, and that will resonate with them. I want to say hello to my Diamond Academy family as well. So for those of you that are new, Diamond Academy is the educational institution. It is the community that I have created, which is a beautiful network of supportive individuals that all have similar goals, not same, but similar. And that goal is the realization of the soul's purpose and to become aware of oneself. And so during this journey, you'll hear a lot about Diamond Academy. That is where the courses, the programs, the live events, the retreats, all of these are run through. They're the organization itself. And so when we say Diamond Academy family, I mean anybody that's a part of it. We really want to create a family here, and we want you to feel so supported alongside us in this journey. And so the Diamond Academy family is anybody that is currently or has been in a course, program, retreat, mastermind, whatever that is. So what does it mean, my team? So I get this question all the time. What do you mean your team, Kathleen? What's this about? So I can't support the amount of people that we support in the beautiful capacity that we do so alone. And I know that we are stronger when we are together. And so I have a beautiful team of coaches, success advisors, client enrichment coaches, program facilitators that are all here in the support of you. And I want you to see that what you currently believe about money right now is creating that reality with money, not the other way around. And then I want you to fall in love with wanting more. Okay. Do you know that it is okay to want more money? Do you know that? Do you know that actually wanting more money is going to allow you to connect in with your creator even more? Because abundance is our birthright. What does that mean? We've heard that all the time. We are not meant to struggle. We are not meant to be in poverty. We are not meant to be in lack and limitation. That is a function of the human mind. That is a pattern and a program that we have learned. And so when I released myself from that, magic happened, literally magic happened. So I'm going to share a couple of the stories over the next few days about some of my biggest movements of energy. And when I say that, I mean bringing in and becoming an open vessel for abundance. Okay. I don't want to say earning money. Sometimes even making money sounds a bit like you've got to like make it, like you're creating it, but all you're doing is being open to receive it and allowing it in. So the earning and the making of is quite interesting language. So we don't necessarily want to go there. So let's get going. Are we ready to talk about money? Are we ready to talk about wealth? So I would love to know why you signed up for a wealth masterclass. And your answer to this question is going to be so important during this journey. So be honest, because if you are not honest with yourself, you can't change whatever it is that you want to change when it comes to money. Because what I can tell you is if you felt like you had enough money, you wouldn't sign up for a wealth masterclass. So there is something within you that has a limit regarding the expansion of wealth, and you are wanting to come on here, and I want to know why that is. If you're watching this on the replay or you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to go through and enter into the spirit of this just like you're live, and either put your answers in the comments on YouTube or in a journal and let your success advisor know. So you wouldn't come on to a wealth masterclass at all if you didn't see a possibility for more wealth in your life. And that is such a beautiful starting point for this journey, because there are people that would not even sign up for this. They don't even think it's possible for them to make any extra money at all whatsoever. So they wouldn't even bother. Why try? So the fact that you are here and you want to grow and you want to learn how to bring more money into your life tells me that you believe it's possible for you. And that is such a beautiful realization. And I hope you see that that comes from a real place of love, of self-love, of confidence, of empowerment. And so whatever the story is that you're telling about yourself today when it comes to money or other areas of your life, I want you to reframe it in this moment. You're here because you see something. You're here because you're open. You're here because you're ready to grow and expand. I am a driven woman, and I am not ashamed of that. It is an energy that I have within myself that I am pretty motivated. I'm pretty driven, and I go after what I want, and I go after it boldly. And I wasn't always like this. I used to be like, oh, well, maybe I would want that. And like, oh, what if I could? Now I'm like, oh, it's mine. So when you don't take no for an answer, then what you're committed to is the yes, right? You're saying no to the no, and you're committed to the yes. So when somebody tells me I can't do something, I can't have something, it isn't possible, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't believe that. Like, I'm so convinced that it's mine. I'm so convinced I can have that. No, you just don't know. You just don't know. You have no idea. But that's an energy. And so I want us to start in that energy of, yes, I want more. Yes, I believe it's possible to have more. And yes, I'm not going to take no for an answer. And that is a beautiful starting point. Yes, that was God Works Through Faith by Robert Russell that Chantel posted. So I want us to see over these next few days that anything and everything is possible. How many of you don't know my story? I'll tell you a little bit. I follow the traditional path, the predictable path, right? So what are we told? Graduate from high school, go to college or university, get a job, hopefully make $100,000 a year, get married, have babies. Then work at a job for 35 years, 40 years, retire, and be done. Retire 65, and then just be done. I did that. It was great. I was in healthcare 12 years, but I always felt this thing. Every time I would watch people just out there living their best lives, these extraordinary lives, traveling the world, experiencing all these amazing things, working for themselves, even little things like there was a woman who used to post, like she'd drop her kids off at the bus in the morning and then she'd go work out at the gym and then she'd work in her home office on her business and then she'd go pick her kids up from the bus. And I was like, I'm over here sitting in an office in meetings all day, commuting an hour and back, getting no lunch breaks, and you're over here at the gym and getting your kids from the bus. And you're probably making more money than me. And I found out later she was. And so that's when I started to think about this. So the receipt of money then isn't tied to the job we do or the number of hours that we work. It's tied to our consciousness. It's tied to what we believe. And so in September of 2019, I took a mindset course with Bob Proctor from the movie The Secret. Oh, I had so many aha moments and so many realizations. And I realized just how much I was living in lack and limitation, and how $100,000 a year was as far as my mind would let me go. So then I started to change that. And I thought, what would it be like to be a millionaire? Because I started to see past what the paradigm was, what the original way of living was, the predictability, the realism, the realistic life. And I started to dream about what it would be like to make $1 million a year. So that was 10 times what I was making, 10 times what I was making. And nothing changed but my own belief in it. And that decision to go for it, that decision to bring that into my life, it literally changed everything. And I did it in 7 months. In 7 months, $1 million, not a year, but in 7 months. And then I was on a training with Bob Proctor, and he says to me, so what are you going to do now, Kathleen? You made $1 million in 7 months. What's next? And I went no, he said, what are you going to do by the end of the year? And I'm like, 2 million. Oh my God, I'm going to do 2 million this year. And then as I said it, I was like, my mind could go further than that, Bob. No, I'm going to do 3. And he was like, okay, Kathleen. And I did 3.3 that year. That year was the year where I quantum leaped my life. Just like that. And it was so fun, and it was so exciting, and it was so powerful and so beautiful. And I had so many people that resonated with my vision, who supported me through it, who were next to me, who supported our clients through their growth and transformation that year. It was life-changing for us all, and I could not have done that alone. And so I think the reason that I want to tell you that is because you don't have to do it alone. You can do it in a supportive community, in an environment, and be surrounded by people. And I didn't have that, so I built it. I created it. And so now we have this. It's created. It's a physical thing. It's a community here to support you through that. So it's a very, very powerful creation, and it will absolutely support you in any capacity. But the 3.3 million went to 12 million the next year, and more and more. So, I mean, it's just been beautiful and inspiring and empowering. And there has been so many things, but the biggest shifts are not necessarily the money, the changes in my experiences, in my lifestyle, but it's my peace. It's my passion. It's my self-love. It's my joy. It's my happiness. And it's not attached to anything. So if everything went away tomorrow, I would still love my life. If everything went away tomorrow, I would still be living in my purpose. If everything went away tomorrow, I would still be fulfilled. And so that's what I want to help you guys to do, is to create generational wealth from a certainty and knowing that either way you will be okay. From a certainty and knowing that the money isn't going to make you happier. Being happier will make you more money. But loving yourself, loving your life, loving your family, loving this beautiful 3D physical world we live in is going to help you change your entire experience of life. Having more money will be a beautiful byproduct of your connection and oneness to God, source, creator, universe. Okay? I want you to want money, but I don't want you to need money. Do we feel the difference? I joke about this all the time, but it's like so true. In the dating world, they say, I want you, but I don't need you. And that's where I want you to be. I want you to be in the energy of money. I want you, but I don't need you. And the need for money, needing it, means you're attached to it. It means you're attached to the outcome. it has a meaning for you in your life that is really powerful and really important. And so it is tied more to your worthiness, your successfulness, your feelings of pride and accomplishment than it is actually needing the money. So many people are like, no, like Kathleen, I really need it. Like I really do. I got bills to pay. I need it. And I'm like, aren't your bills getting paid? Like the current bills you have right now, they're getting paid, right? And they're like, well, yeah, but it's tight and I just have enough, or every month I go into debt a little bit more. So let's experience something else. Instead of the feeling of not having money and having to pay your bills and not wanting to, let's just move over into a different perspective and perception. I'm so grateful for these bills. I'm so grateful I get to pay them. Look at me go, oh, another bill paid. How amazing. And that little shift just takes you out of the needing. We don't need it. There are people that don't have a fraction of what you have, and they're okay, and they're happy, and they're living a great life. So I want us to change the way it feels about needing money. If you needed it, really, really needed it for your survival, you really needed it for your survival, what would happen right now? Where would you be in your life? The same place? Like we actually need our health a little bit more than we need money, wouldn't we say? Yeah. Let me tell you, this is a lesson that I learned. Very, very important lesson. I was at the peak of my career. We were doing well over $1 million a month revenue into the business. $1 million a month. Okay. So I went from 100,000 a year to $1 million a month. And I was traveling around the world. We were supporting people in the most incredible ways. I was doing my first retreat in the Bahamas, and bam, I end up in the hospital with pneumonia, had to have emergency lung surgery, had to be away from my kids. I was in Miami, had to be away from my kids for 5 weeks. I was in the ICU, had a chest tube, the whole nine. And let me tell you that money means nothing if you do not have your health. It means nothing if you do not have your health. People say health is wealth. Well, wealth in all areas of your life is what we are seeking, not just in health and not just in wealth. Like we really want to be wealthy and prosperous in every single area of our life. That is the wholeness of who we are. So the wholeness of who we are then is spiritually whole, intellectually whole, and physically whole. But it also includes abundance and prosperity. And so there is this thing in the spiritual world where there's this energy that wanting and having money is a bad thing. I even saw a TikTok one day, and it said something along the lines of like, don't believe the rich that claim to be spiritual because you can't be spiritual and rich. And I was like, oh my gosh, what a belief to have. Why would you believe that? You will never have more money than you have today. Never. And so I want you to experience the truth of who you are and have the existence that you desire and create the reality that you desire. And so if you believe that you can be really spiritually aligned and connected, and you can be like, so set in your oneness and experience exponential wealth, then that's the experience that you'll have. But if you don't believe it, you won't have it. I pay attention to the beliefs that I have, and I pay attention to the beliefs that other people have. And I want to make sure that every single belief that I have is one that I want to see manifest. Okay. So what you believe to be true will always be your truth. Your beliefs are what manifest. Okay. So if you notice a belief in yourself that is wrong or untrue or limiting, just be like, do I want this to manifest in my life? Yes or no? Do I want this to manifest? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, change the belief. Every belief manifests. So do you want this belief to manifest? So the belief that you can't be spiritual and rich, Okay, if you believe that, that's what will manifest. So then you have one of two choices: either be spiritual or be rich. You can't have both because your belief says the outcome. We had a really beautiful awareness in my next level mastermind. And this is a group of high level income earners that want to expand and grow. So no matter how much money you make, there's always the possibility of more. And so the ascension is really beautiful. But one of the things that was really, really beautiful in that awareness was one of the members had a realization that you couldn't, their belief that they held was that in order to make millions of dollars or to become richer, that you had to do something dishonest. So they believed that money was made through dishonest action. And so then she was at a impasse. Either get dishonest and make more money, or not make more money. And so reprogramming that belief, so her awareness of that belief and the reprogramming of that belief, brilliant, makes you more open to receive, because then you are completely reprogramming that, which is beautiful. If we understand universal law, so there are laws that no matter where we are in this universe, they are true. So they're an absolute truth and not a relative truth. So a relative truth says that if we are in a different country or on different sides of the world, that our truth might be different, right? So what beauty is different in different parts of the world. Our beliefs around money are different in different parts of the world. Success, health, foods we should eat, those are all relative truths. So depending on where you are, you might have a different reality. But an absolute truth is true no matter where you are. So the law of gravity, for example, no matter where you live, gravity is holding you down unless you go on the spaceship. But, to be on this planet somewhere, that is an absolute truth. It is universal law. So universal law then is the law of infinite supply. So as long as there is a demand, there will always be a supply. It's infinite. It's infinite. So what's the demand? What do I mean by that? What's the demand? So let's think about money then. Money comes where it is needed. Money comes where there is a demand for it. And this is big, you guys. There is a lot of us that want more, but we are not creating a demand. We are not. We are hoping for more, but we are feeling lack and limitation. We desire more and we express that. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly, but you're not creating a demand. The creation of a demand is what opens you to receive the vessel. So it's making different decisions. So I just wanted to tell you about the demand, because I don't take no for an answer. That's a part of my demand system. So I'm going to keep demanding. I'm going to keep asking for. I'm going to keep myself open to receive. I will not take no for an answer. So even when the world says, no, this isn't happening for you, Kathleen. No, this isn't possible. It's remaining true to it and saying no. Let me give you a little fun example with my daughter. So we were at my mom and dad's place a few weeks ago, and Mason came over to me. She's 11 years old. And she came over to me and she said, Mom, I would love some s'mores. My dad was going to do a campfire and she wanted s'mores. And we had just gotten there and I had just driven an hour to get there and I was tired. I just wanted to relax. And the grocery store is like 20 minutes away. And we didn't have any s'mores. How is she 11 already? I know. And so she was like, well, can't we just go to the grocery store? And I'm like, oh, Mason, it's 20-minute drive. No, we're not going to the grocery store. We're not. You can have like a fudgesicle or something. My dad had it in the fridge. She asks again. And then she asks me again. And then again. And I'm like, no, you're so persistent, And I was like, I'm not going to get you s'mores. And then I go inside to go to the bathroom. And I come back out and she's sitting there in the backyard with a s'mores kit. And I'm like, I was gone 5 minutes. Did this just show up from thin air? It literally did. So the next door neighbor heard that she wanted s'mores, heard me say no, that I wasn't going to go to the grocery store, and delivered a s'mores kit. Okay. There is such a valuable lesson here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you manifested that, Mason. It's such an important lesson. She did not stop asking. She held the image. And so I could have got mad at her and I could have said, you asked me that one more time, but I didn't. I just kept saying, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. And she just kept asking and she just kept asking. So I think persistence and continuing to demand and not taking no for an answer are really beautiful energies, and they will get you whatever you want. And the other thing about that was that what you want will always be delivered, but you have to remain open to it being delivered in ways that you did not think it would be delivered in, right? So who knew that the next door neighbor was going to overhear her and bring over? Like, it literally just showed up from thin air. And these stories are very common in our world, very, very common in our world. Somebody messaged me, I just manifested $26,000, Kathleen, just out of thin air. Oh man, the text message she sent me lit me right up. She, basically the text message said was when she first found us, she was about to lose her car. Didn't have any money. And she couldn't even take Wealth from Within. So I have a course called Wealth from Within. It's $1,111. She couldn't even take it. And I decided, and I've never done this before, I decided that I was going to give away a Wealth from Within. I'm going to give away a program. And she won it. Well, she manifested it. And she took it and she applied it and she embodied it. And then she started to make more money. And then she moved into the millionaire program. She upgraded into millionaire. And she texted me, she just had a $60,000 day in her business. That text message lit me up. It is absolute proof that it is your consciousness that creates. It's not the world around you, but it's what you believe to be true. And so there's an energy around making a decision. There's an energy about not taking no for an answer. And there's an energy about staying focused on the things that you desire. There are people in my world that the world might be telling them no. And they are like, I'm holding the image. Like, I'm acting in the assumption, I'm holding the image. This is what is going to happen. And so these little stories, these things that we're telling you, I want you to really see that it's possible and available to you, but you must get into the energy. You must be in faith and you must desire. The awareness in yourself that you see it as being too far out of reach, that honest revelation right there will change everything for you. Because if you're unaware that you think it's out of reach, you cannot change that. But now you saying, you know what? I believe it's out of reach. That now is something we can change. That is a belief within your consciousness that we can reprogram to a new belief. We can act in the assumption of faith and we can change it. And so then you go from it's out of reach to, you know what? I actually think that it's within my reach. I actually think it's possible. And then to it's on its way to it's already done. And that's the journey of the realization I want to take you guys through. So the honesty about your awareness, your understanding, your beliefs is really, really important. So that's what I say. You got to be honest. Like, nobody else is paying attention to what you think. Nobody else cares what you believe. You should care, because what you believe is what you manifest outwards. So pay attention. So the first set of questions, I really, really wanted you to see what your current money story is. Okay. And people say like a story, like, what do you mean? Well, it's something you're telling yourself. It's a belief that you hold. It's an experience that you're having that you've created. So you learned somewhere along the road that making money is hard. You learned somewhere down the road that you needed to get a job that paid you an hourly wage or a salary, and that's security. You learned that the more you work, the more hours you work, the more money you'll make. You learned that having money could be a bad thing, that rich people are bad, that wanting more money is selfish or greedy. See how I'm pulling all of these things out? I'm pulling them all out. And so I want you to pull these out of you. What do you believe?